After 6 years together, one hidden chat made me walk away was supposed to be about her sister's baby shower, but a muted group chat exposed a secret trip, a fake breakup story, and the reason everyone kept asking me if I was okay before I even knew why. Original post: I found the hidden chat while my girlfriend was sitting right next to me asking what kind of cake we should bring to her sister's baby shower. That is not the kind of sentence you expect to say after 6 years with somebody. My name is Evan. I'm 31, and until 3 months ago, I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina with my girlfriend Lauren. She was 29. We had been together since I was 25 and she was 23, which means we weren't some brand new couple still figuring each other out. We had survived bad apartments, job changes, car repairs, family drama, and the kind of boring Tuesday nights that actually build a relationship. At least I thought we had. Lauren worked as an office admin for a dental supply company. I'm a software support specialist, which sounds more exciting than it is. Most days, I answer tickets from people who forgot passwords and then act like the password forgot them personally. We rented a 2-bedroom apartment for $2,400 a month. I paid $1,300 because I made more. She paid $1,100. I handled internet and groceries most weeks. She handled electric and our streaming accounts. We were not rich, but we were stable. That night, we were on the couch with her laptop open between us, looking at baby shower decorations for her sister, Mia. Lauren was scrolling through Pinterest, showing me these expensive balloon arches like I had ever once looked at a balloon and thought, yes, that should cost $200. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and flipped it face down so fast that even the dog looked up. We didn't have a dog. That is how fast it felt. I said, "Everything okay?" She said, "Yeah, just work." It was Saturday at 9:47 at night. I didn't say anything at first because I didn't want to be that guy. The jealous guy. The guy who turns every buzz into a courtroom. But she had been doing that face-down thing for weeks. Then her laptop dinged. A message preview popped up in the corner. It was from someone named Harper. The preview said, "Does Evan still think you're coming alone?" Lauren's hand slammed the trackpad. Too late. I had already seen it. I said, "Coming alone where?" She smiled, but her eyes panicked before her mouth caught up. "What?" I pointed at the laptop. "Harper just asked if I still think you're coming alone." Lauren closed the laptop, not minimized, closed. That's when my stomach dropped. I said, "Open it." She said, "Evan, don't start." That sentence did something to me. Don't start. Like I was creating the problem by reacting to the problem. I said, "Open the laptop." She said, "It's private." I said, "Then you can explain it without opening it." She stood up and said she needed water. I said, "Lauren." She stopped by the kitchen island. For 6 years, I knew her tells. When Lauren was annoyed, she got sarcastic. When she was sad, she cleaned. When she was lying, she started acting like the truth was beneath her. That night, she was acting like the truth was beneath her. She said, "It's a bridesmaid group chat." I said, "Mia is having a baby shower, not a wedding." She said, "I meant girls chat." I said, "Then why would Harper ask if I think you're coming alone?" Lauren stared at me. Then she said, "Because you make people uncomfortable when you overthink things." 6 years together, and she knew exactly where to hit. I have always been the planner. The one checking rent due dates, renewing car registration, comparing grocery prices, asking if we really need another subscription. I know it can be annoying. I know I can turn small stuff into a spreadsheet, but I also knew that every time I stopped planning, things fell apart. So I took a breath and said, "I'm not arguing, I'm asking." Her phone buzzed again. This time it was on the coffee table. We both looked at it. Another message preview from Harper. "Please tell me you deleted the Affairloom screenshots." Lauren lunged for the phone. I got to it first. Not my proudest moment. I'm not going to pretend I was some calm, perfect saint. I grabbed it because my heart was pounding and I knew if she got it first, whatever truth existed was gone. She yelled, "Give me my phone." I said, "Unlock it." She said, "No." I said, "Then tell me what Affairloom screenshots mean." She started crying. Not loud, not dramatic. Just instant tears like she had been waiting for this exact disaster and was mad it arrived before she was ready. She said, "It's not what you think." And I remember thinking, people only say that when it is close enough to what you think that they need better wording. Update: when I didn't unlock her phone that night. That part matters. People always imagine the dramatic movie version where someone grabs the phone, finds everything, and the truth falls out in one clean scene. Real life is uglier. Real life is two adults standing in a kitchen at 10 at night, one holding a locked phone, the other crying and insisting privacy matters after a message about deleted Airbnb screenshots just lit up the room. I put the phone down on the counter. I said, "You have one chance to explain this before I leave." Lauren wiped her face and said, "Leave where?" "My brother's." She got defensive immediately. "So you're going to run to Tyler and make me look crazy?" Tyler is my older brother. He never liked Lauren much, but he was always polite. He said she treated kindness like something she could borrow without returning. I hated when he said that. I hate more that he was right. Lauren said the chat was about a girls' weekend in Asheville. She said Harper had booked an Airbnb for 4 women. She said she had not told me yet because I had been stressed about money and she didn't want another lecture about spending. That almost made sense. Almost. Except I had never told her she couldn't go on girls' trips. I had paid her half of a beach house deposit 2 summers earlier because she wanted to go with her cousins and was short until payday. I said, "Why would Harper ask if I thought you were coming alone?" Lauren said, "Because Harper is messy." I said, and deleted Airbnb screenshots. "She means from the chat. She's dramatic." I stared at her. Then I asked one question. "Who else is going?" She answered too fast. "Harper, Jenna, and Mia." Mia was 8 months pregnant. I said, "Your pregnant sister is going to an Airbnb girls' weekend 2 hours away." Lauren blinked. Then she said she might come for dinner. There it was. The first crack. I grabbed my keys. Lauren stepped in front of the door and said, "You are seriously leaving over a misunderstanding?" I said, "No. I'm leaving because you think I'm dumb." That shut her up. I drove to Tyler's apartment at 11:15. He lived 20 minutes away in Cary and opened the door in sweatpants, holding a bowl of cereal like a man who had accepted adulthood but not respected it. He took one look at me and said, "What did she do?" I told him everything. The phone buzz. The laptop preview. The Airbnb message. The crying. The girl's weekend story. Tyler didn't say, "I told you so." That was how I knew it was bad. He just said, "Call Mia." I said, "At midnight," he said. "If her name is being used in a lie, she'll want to know." I called Mia. She answered on the 4th ring, whispering, probably because her husband was asleep. I said, "Sorry, I know it's late." Quick question. "Are you going to Asheville with Lauren next weekend?" Silence. Then Mia said, "What?" I closed my eyes. Tyler put the cereal down. I said, "Lauren said there's a girls' weekend. Harper, Jenna, you, maybe dinner." Mia said, "Evan, I'm not going anywhere. I can barely put socks on." That would have been funny if my chest didn't feel like it was caving in. Then Mia said, "Is this why Mom asked me if you two were taking a break?" I opened my eyes. "What?" Mia got quiet. "She said Lauren told her you two were having space." I said, "We live together." "I know, that's why I thought it was weird." Tyler whispered, "Speaker." I put her on speaker. Mia said Lauren had been telling their mom for about a month that we were not officially broken up but emotionally separated. She said Lauren told her family I had become controlling about money and didn't support her independence. I almost laughed. I was sitting in my brother's apartment wearing the hoodie Lauren bought me for Christmas, discovering that my girlfriend had broken up with me in conversations I was not invited to. Mia apologized 3 times. Then she said, "Evan, there's something else." I looked at Tyler. Mia said, "At the baby shower planning brunch last Sunday, Harper joked about Nashville. Lauren told her to shut up." "Nashville, not Asheville," I asked. "What about Nashville?" Mia said, "I don't know, but Mom looked weird after, like she knew something." After we hung up, Tyler said, "You need to stop asking Lauren questions. Start asking the people she forgot to coach." Update 2 by morning, Lauren had sent me 31 texts. The first ones were angry. "You really left me alone all night. This is so immature. You always punish me with silence." Then the tone changed around 2:30. "Can we please talk? I didn't mean to make you feel betrayed. You're scaring me by not answering." Then, at 4:06, she sent the one that made everything clear. Please don't call Harper. So I called Harper. Not immediately. I waited until 8:30 because I wanted to be reasonable even while my life was burning down. Harper answered like someone who had already been warned not to answer. She said, "Evan, I don't want to be involved." I said, "Then why did you message Lauren asking if I still thought she was coming alone?" Silence. I said, "Harper, I've known you for 5 years. I helped move your couch when your ex left. I fixed your Wi-Fi before your remote job interview. Please don't treat me like a stranger now." She exhaled hard, then she said, "I thought you knew you guys were basically done." That phrase again. Basically done, I asked. "Who told you that?" "Lauren." "When?" "Like 6 weeks ago." 6 weeks. 6 weeks earlier, Lauren and I had been looking at townhomes online, not signing anything, just dreaming. She sent me a link to a place with a tiny fenced patio and said, "Imagine coffee here." At the same time, she was telling people we were basically done. Harper said the trip was not Asheville. It was Nashville. It was not a girls' weekend. It was Lauren, Harper, Jenna, and a guy named Marcus. I knew Marcus. He was a sales rep from Lauren's company. Tall gym guy, beard, always commenting fire emojis under her Instagram stories. Lauren said he was harmless and commented like that on everyone's posts. Apparently, Marcus had rented the Airbnb under his account because he got a corporate discount. Harper said, "I swear I didn't know you were in the dark until last night." I said, "What was the trip for?" Another pause. Then she said, "Marcus's birthday." I stood up from Tyler's kitchen table so fast the chair scraped the floor. Lauren had told me next weekend was for baby shower errands. She had asked me to cover groceries that week because she was saving for Mia's gift. She had let me Venmo her $300 2 days earlier after saying her car payment hit early. And she was using that money to go to Nashville for another man's birthday. Harper started crying. She said, "I know it sounds awful." I said, "It doesn't sound awful, it is awful." Then came the strongest punch. Harper said, "There's a chat." I said, "I know." "No, not the girl's chat, the other one." My hand went numb around the phone. "What other one?" She said there was a group chat called Soft Launch Crew. Lauren, Harper, Jenna, Marcus, and 2 of Marcus's friends. The whole chat was about how Lauren and Marcus were going to soft launch their relationship after Nashville without making Lauren look like she cheated. I thought I had already hit the bottom. I had not. Harper said Lauren told them I was emotionally unavailable, that we had not acted like a couple in months, and that she was only waiting because she felt guilty about the lease. I asked Harper to send me screenshots. She said, "Lauren will never speak to me again." I said, "That's between you and Lauren, but right now, everyone has been speaking about me except me." 10 minutes later, screenshots started coming in. The first one was Marcus saying, "So when do I get to post my girl?" Lauren replied, "After Nashville, I need one clean weekend before the drama." Jenna wrote, "Does Evan know?" Lauren replied, "He knows we're not good, he just doesn't accept it." Marcus wrote, "Dude sounds pathetic." Lauren replied with 3 laughing emojis. I sat down on the floor. Tyler crouched beside me and said, "Breathe." But I couldn't breathe normally, because the woman I had spent 6 years protecting in every room had sat in another room and laughed while someone called me pathetic. Then I saw the Airbnb screenshot. 2 bedrooms, 4 guests. Marcus and Lauren were assigned the king room. Harper and Jenna were assigned the room with 2 twin beds. There was no misunderstanding left. No girls' weekend. No baby shower errands, no emotional separation, just a plan. And the plan included making me look unstable when I found out. One screenshot from Lauren said, "If Evan blows up, just let him. It will prove why I had to leave." That line changed me. Because I suddenly understood the trap. If I got angry, she was right. If I cried, she was trapped. If I begged, I was pathetic. If I exposed her, I was controlling. So I did the one thing she had not prepared for. I got calm. I texted Lauren. "I know about Nashville, Marcus, the Airbnb and Soft Launch Crew. I'm coming home at noon to talk about the lease. Please have your sister or mom there if you don't want to be alone." She called immediately. I declined. She called again. I declined again. Then her mom called. I answered. Her mom, Sandra, sounded shaken. She said, "Evan, Lauren told me you're accusing her of cheating and threatening to throw her out." I said, "I'm not threatening anything. I'm coming home to discuss separating." "Did she tell you about Marcus?" Silence. Then Sandra said, "Who is Marcus?" That was all I needed. I forwarded 3 screenshots, not 20, not the cruel ones, just the ones that showed Nashville, the Airbnb, and the fake breakup story. Sandra called back 5 minutes later crying. She said, "I am so sorry." That apology hit harder than Lauren's texts. Because Sandra was the kind of woman who sent birthday cards early and always told me I was part of the family. She had defended Lauren through a lot, but even she knew this was different. At noon, I went home with Tyler. Lauren was sitting at the kitchen table in one of my old T-shirts. Sandra was on FaceTime propped against a coffee mug. The apartment looked exactly the same. Same unpaid electric bill on the counter, same half-empty cereal box, same framed photo from our trip to Charleston. But it felt like walking into a museum of a life that had already closed. Lauren looked at Tyler and said, "Really? You brought backup?" I said, "You brought a whole group chat." She flinched. For the first time, she didn't have a comeback. Final update: the conversation lasted 42 minutes. I know because I kept staring at the microwave clock like if I focused on numbers, I wouldn't lose my mind. Lauren tried everything. First, she said nothing physical had happened with Marcus. Then she admitted they had kissed at a work happy hour. Then she said the Nashville trip was supposed to be where she figured out her feelings. Then she said she never meant to hurt me. Then she said I had made her feel like she couldn't be honest. That was the part where I finally spoke. I said, "I didn't make honesty unsafe. I made lying inconvenient." Sandra closed her eyes on FaceTime. Tyler looked down at the floor. Lauren cried, but I could tell she was also angry that crying wasn't fixing it. She said, "So 6 years means nothing." I said, "6 years is exactly why this means something." Because that was the truth. If we had dated for 6 months, maybe I could call it immaturity. Maybe I could say she got confused, got attention, made a mess. But 6 years meant she knew my insecurities. She knew my schedule. She knew I checked our budget every Sunday night. She knew I was planning to ask her dad for advice about rings over Thanksgiving. Yes, rings. I had not bought one yet, but I had been saving, slowly, secretly. I had a folder on my phone with 3 options, none crazy expensive, all simple because Lauren said she hated flashy jewelry. I almost told her that, then I didn't. Some truths are not gifts anymore. I told her I was staying with Tyler for 1 week while we figured out who would move. The lease had 4 months left. I offered to cover my half until she found a roommate or until we broke it together. I did not want revenge. I wanted out clean. Lauren said, "You're being cold." I said, "No. I'm being careful. Cold is planning a soft launch while your boyfriend pays for groceries." That one landed. She looked ashamed, not destroyed, not cartoon villain exposed in front of a crowd, just ashamed in a quiet human way, and that made it sadder. Because Lauren was not some monster, she was funny. She was generous with her nieces. She cried during dog rescue videos. She remembered tiny details about people's coffee orders. She also lied to me for weeks, accepted my money, laughed when another man called me pathetic, and prepared people to see my pain as proof against me. Both things were true. That is what makes betrayal hard. If the person was only evil, leaving would be easy. 2 days later, the fallout hit the friend group. Harper backed out of Nashville. Jenna tried to stay neutral until screenshots showed she had helped Lauren draft a fake "We grew apart" Instagram caption. Then she deleted her account for a week. Marcus blocked me before I ever said one word to him, which told me everything about his courage. Lauren canceled the Airbnb and lost the deposit. She texted me a screenshot of the cancellation like I was supposed to comfort her over it. I didn't respond. Mia called me after the baby shower. I didn't go. I sent a gift through Amazon, a baby monitor from the registry and a small blanket. Mia cried on the phone and said, "You didn't have to do that." I said, "The baby didn't do anything wrong." That was the closest I came to breaking, because I had not just lost Lauren. I lost Sunday dinners with her family. I lost Sandra sending me recipes. I lost Mia calling me when her printer broke. I lost the future version of myself who thought he would be Uncle Evan at birthdays and holidays. People talk about breakups like you only lose the person. Sometimes you lose a whole country you had already learned how to live in. Lauren moved out 3 weeks later. Her dad drove down from Richmond with a rented U-Haul. He shook my hand in the parking lot and said, "I'm sorry, son." Lauren stood behind him with red eyes. She asked if we could talk alone. I said, "Not today." She nodded like she finally understood that access to me was not automatic anymore. After she left, I walked through the apartment and noticed all the strange empty spaces. Her shoes were gone from the entryway. Her candles were gone from the bathroom. Her favorite mug was gone from the sink. But the quiet did not feel peaceful yet. It felt huge. For the first month, I hated that apartment. Every room had a memory waiting to jump me. The kitchen where we danced while making cheap pasta. The couch where I found the message. The bedroom where she used to fall asleep with one hand under my shirt because she said my heartbeat helped her relax. Then slowly, I changed things. I moved the couch to the other wall. I bought new sheets. I deleted our shared grocery list. I stopped checking her Instagram from a burner browser like a man with no self-respect. I slipped once or twice. I'm not proud of it. Healing is not a straight line. Sometimes it is blocking someone and then unblocking them at 2 in the morning just to hurt your own feelings. But eventually, I got tired of reopening the wound. Lauren emailed me 2 months later. She said she was sorry. Not the panic sorry. A real one, or at least closer to real than before. She admitted she liked the attention from Marcus because he made her feel exciting while I made her feel accountable. She said she convinced herself our relationship was already over because it was easier than admitting she was ending it badly. She said she should have returned the $300. She did send it back. I donated half to a local food bank and used the other half to replace the coffee table, because every time I looked at the old one, I remembered her phone face down on it. I never replied to the email, not because I hated her, because sometimes silence is the only ending that does not invite another chapter. The last thing I heard was that Marcus started dating someone else from their office before summer. Lauren quit that job not long after. I don't know where she works now. I hope she grows. I hope she becomes honest. I hope she never does to anyone else what she did to me. But I do not hope she comes back. That part took time. For a while, I wanted her to appear at my door and say she had ruined her life. I wanted the movie moment, the regret, the crying, the proof that I mattered. Now I understand that I mattered even if she never admits it properly. My worth was never supposed to be proven by her guilt. After 6 years together, one hidden chat made me walk away, but it was not really one chat. It was every lie behind it, every friend who knew before I did, every dollar accepted while she planned an exit, every laugh she allowed at my expense, every time she turned my trust into something she could hide behind. I am not perfect. I was probably too careful, too routine, too focused on bills and plans and making sure life didn't collapse. But being steady is not a crime, and if someone wants chaos, they will eventually resent anyone who keeps bringing peace. Now I live alone in a smaller one-bedroom across town. Rent is cheaper. The kitchen is tiny. The neighbors are loud on Fridays. My couch is ugly but paid for. And for the first time in years, when my phone buzzes, my stomach doesn't drop. That is what peace feels like. Not dramatic. Not viral. Just quiet enough that you can finally hear yourself again. If this story hit close to home, subscribe for more stories like this, like the video, and share it with someone who needs the reminder. And tell me in the comments, have you ever found one message that changed everything, or what would you have done in my place?